Boaters, this is Pauly from All Docked Up. And once again, never have a podcast without my main man, Captain Buzz.
Hey, Captain Buzz here. How's everybody doing?
Buzzy, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
I mean, the question, how you doing?
No, I'm good.
Are you sure you're doing good?
Yeah.
Well, you're drinking a Samuel Adams, and I got a Hendrix and tonic, so I don't know how good you're really doing, to be honest with you.
So let's get right into our boater bites, because our boater bites tonight, well, it's actually the whole podcast is going to be about crabs and crabbing, because we have a very special guest, Captain Kenny, owner of Bottom Dollar Crabbing.
Everybody give him the clap. Give him the clap, everybody. How you doing?
Kenny, how you doing?
Kenny, how you doing?
I'm doing real good. Beautiful day. Glad to be here.
Very cool. All right, so let me get into our captain's briefing. And so my captain's briefing for this evening is get a boat hook, right? A telescopic hook that you keep on your boat. It's great for grabbing dock lines, picking things out of the water. If you get one that's
cracking a guest upside the noggin when they're not listening.
If that's required, it's a good weapon. You get one that's it's got you get one that's got threads on the top. You can get attachments for it, like a chamois.
You can use it as a scrub brush. They got multiple attachments.
Different kinds of brushes. Get yourself a boat hook. Very important for grabbing stuff out of the water. So, what's our detailer's briefing this evening?
Well, I'll tell you what. I got an interesting story to tell. My detailer's briefing is when you are a guest on somebody's boat or you're on anybody's boat, the sandals or the shoes that leave black scuff marks all over the place. Let me tell you a little story.
Ouch.
Okay? So my cockpit looked like a leopard after a course of a weekend. And I'm looking around and Buzzy, my boat. My boat is spotless. Kenny, my boat is gleaming inside out. There's no schmutz. There's no dirt, no smell. Buzzy will tell you I'm as OCD as it comes. If the boat's not polished, shined, scrubbed, I kill everybody. I'm very, very, very anal when it comes to that. And I had some guests on board, and there were scuff marks as far as the eye can see. And I'm looking around. And I'm
rude.
And I'm having an OCD moment. I'm flipping out. I got, you go underneath the helm at the captain's chair, and I got my little cubby there, and I'm grabbing the compound out, and I'm like, I take my shoes off, and I'm whacking them against the fiberglass. I'm like, is it me? I'm like, and then I finally broke down. I said, everybody, give me your shoes.
Let me see.
Who's guilty here? Who's the culprit here? That if you're on somebody's boat, you can wear flip-flops. That's fine. Make sure that they don't scuff all over. Buy a pair of Sperry's. Like, you're good to go. Like, you're driving me nuts. I'm telling you, everywhere, just at the foot line, just above your ankle, there was black scuff marks everywhere.
So we've been doing the podcast from my boat, and we are on it.
We are live in Chesapeake City right now on Captain Buzzy's boat.
We are. And so when Captain Kenny got here, he was barefoot. I said, well, dude, you can put your shoes back on. He goes, oh, no, these scuff.
Because he knows.
And I said, dude,
he knows.
He knows.
Kenny, you're the man, buddy.
Absolutely.
You are the man. So that's my detailer's briefing. Don't wear shoes that scuff or hard bottom soles. Make them, anti-slip and soft bottom soles, or I kill you.
Let's get with Captain Kenny here, because
this is awesome. We have a professional crabber, captain, waterman for years. He's got. I'm excited.
I'll tell a quick story, because this guy is known throughout the entire Upper Bay. He's like a rock star.
He's a rock.
He's not like
a rock. You're demoting the man over here, you momo.
So I'm down in Rock Hall one day, and I run into him. Hey, Kenny, how you doing? Hey, what's going on? And all of a sudden, the crowd starts to gather around this guy, and they're going, "Hey, Kenny!" And he knows everybody. This guy knows everybody.
He's another Pauly. Only he's a waterman. He's like me.
So, Captain Kenny, you have a captain's license. What kind of license do you hold?
I do. I have a 100-ton license with the towing endorsement, because I did that for a little bit.
So you ran a towboat as well?
Yep.
Boat US, Sea-Tow?
Sea-Tow.
Okay.
Nice. All right.
Yep.
That's awesome to add to the resume.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We did some crew boat work. I've done a lot of that over the years, which can be very lucrative.
So what does that mean?
Explain like a crew boat position.
Think of it as a supply boat. We run people and whatever they need to dredges or to bigger ships or supplies out from place to place.
Were you running out of Delaware City?
Yep.
Delaware City
After
Marina.
the dredging unit?
Yep.
Well, Delaware City Marina is going to be on the all docked up platform, baby.
Dig it.
They're in.
Dig it.
Yep. Very good guys down there at Delaware City, too.
Awesome.
Very good guys.
Awesome.
So a master's license is required for that position?
Correct. Because you have
got it.
more than 6 people on the boat. A lot.
Makes sense. Okay. Very
Not
cool.
always, but definitely a lot.
And so, what other kind of jobs have you done? Because I thought, didn't I see you running the? Is it the Bay Breeze?
Yeah, he was running
Yep.
right? you got your hands in a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Yep. I helped Tom out there for a little bit. When
Dude,
they got
Tommy
started.
Connell, dockmaster at Schaefer's Canal House. Love
right.
that guy. Until you send a wake his way and not obey the rules, then he's not such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Well,
Every time I see Tommy Connell, I scream at him, give him the biggest hug. Well, you see what I do to Tommy all the time. I love that guy.
So you ran a crew boat out of Delaware City to the dredging unit. You run the Sea Breeze, which can hold how many? Like 50 people, right?
I think so. It's been a few
with a
years since
bar
I've
and
been
food
on it,
and all.
but,
They
yeah.
do little tours. That's awesome. What other types of things have you done?
Mostly crabbing and fishing and that kind of thing.
Okay.
Besides the crew boat.
Okay. So and how long have you been a captain? When did you get your license?
I want to say I'm probably about the 13, 15 year mark.
And did you get your master's license immediately, or did you get
Yes.
your 6-pack
Yep.
and then upgrade?
Yep.
Well,
I
you
got
were
it
born and
immediately.
raised in this, right? Yes or no?
Grew up on the water right here in Cecil County. So,
Now,
yep.
your license that you hold to be a commercial crabber, a waterman on the Chesapeake Bay, is that from your grandfather family passed down? Like, explain how you. I mean,
how'd you get into it?
you're a young guy and you
My
got a pretty
grandfather.
extent. It was your grandfather.
Yep. You
The
hit
grand
nail on the
poobah.
head. Yep. He commercial fished as well as was a farmer, and we owned the farm that was on the water, so that kind of went hand in hand.
Awesome.
Wow.
Which was basically at the entrance to the canal here.
Okay.
And he got me started in it, and I kind of liked working on the water better than farming, so
I'm sure you
here I
did.
am.
That
A
is
day on the
awesome.
water is but definitely better than a day in the dirt. That's for sure. As much as
You
I
can look
love
at it like that.
I mean, let's face it. I mean,
You
that's
know.
just my personal. God bless all the
because we're
farmers
boaters.
out there.
Yeah,
We're boaters. God bless all the farmers out there. Make no, but I mean, a day out in the water is better than a day anywhere, as far as I'm concerned.
So what kind of boat do you run for your crabbing business now?
I have a traditional Maryland dead rise, and it was built by the Kinnemans out of Tillman's Island.
Oh, what year is it? How old?
2004, so it's fairly new.
That's the same year as this.
Yep. They're
Awesome.
They
How big of a
build-
boat?
It's 43 foot.
I'll
It's
be a
fiberglass
sumbitch.
over wood, which is fairly common for a dead rise. They're pretty
Okay.
easy to build, pretty inexpensive.
Fiberglass over wood.
Yep.
Big single diesel.
Yep.
What kind of diesel
Yeah,
power
what's
are
the
we
power?
talking? Like
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
motorheads.
yeah, yeah.
I love
What's the
diesels.
power?
Buzzy loves diesels. What do you got?
We got a 3208 Caterpillar in her.
Ma,
375.
okay.
And she moves right along for what it is. I mean, we're not designed to go fast, so
No.
we need a big,
It's a
large
truck.
working.
It's a truck on the
Yep.
water.
Yep.
Hey, you need a big
Exactly.
workhorse that you're out
Yep.
there working all day long.
So there's some, and I'll share a little story. There's something very unique about this boat, right? Because first of all, I had an opportunity to spend a day with bottom dollar crabbing. Can
Please
you
tell
allow
me you worked the shit out of him. That's all I gotta say.
We
I'm-
kept him busy.
I
Good
love-
man. Good man. I like
well,
it.
I have to. Did I do okay? Was
You
I all
did
right?
great.
All right.
And don't give him any. He'll make his head large just because we're recording. Because the people want to know: was Captain Buzz good on the water that day?
Hey, I didn't find any illegal crabs, so we were good to go.
That was
No
my
illegal
job.
crabs, and you and you didn't hit him with a blunt object of any
No,
kind.
nope.
Well, then you're good to go.
My job was sizing, making sure we were legal right through the day. That was my job.
I'm
How
not
perfect is that, right?
real.
So Captain Kenny gave me the helm for a little while, but the throttle is backwards, right? So yeah, you pull it back
to go forward.
to go forward to give it more throttle, and so that messed with my head a little bit. But
Shocker.
now, is that the way it's designed, or is that just was it turned around the other way?
Yeah, is that
Um,
something that you
A lot
just?
of guys do it that way for backing down on nets because you're turning around looking behind you.
Oh.
In theory, because you're working reverse,
Okay.
you do run the throttle that way.
Okay.
It's kind of
I like it.
become
See
a
that?
preference for some guys. Some guys run them traditionally. Some
You
guys run them
personalize
backwards.
your work boat to do what it
Interesting.
needs to do, so you're successful all day long.
Yeah,
How about that?
some guys pull the crab pots up in the forward part of the boat up near the cabin. Some guys pull them more towards the stern, and it really depends on kind of what you got used to.
And so you have helm controls right where you're hooking pots and putting them on that pulley, right?
Yep.
So pretty
Yep.
much you have right. So you have your pilot house, your helm station, and then you have something, and then you have midship controls.
It's
just about midship, I
just
guess you
about
would say.
midship,
Okay.
Yeah, right in back of the cabin. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the question is when am I getting the invitation?
Anytime
This
you
is going to
want.
be a
All right.
funny day.
You better bring your own overalls.
You got to wake up really early too.
First of all, I don't sleep because with all docked up, Pauly does not sleep. I never sleep.
So how are the crabs running right now?
Right now, it's just
it's what, end of July, and so
we would like to see it better. It's not a terrible year, but it could definitely be
Okay.
better. I mean, last year you went with us, I think about in August.
I thought it was.
And
We had a great
about
day.
14, 15 baskets.
We did, yes.
A day out of 300 pots, and right now we're doing about 6 baskets.
Ooh.
So
we're-
have 300 pots out there.
Yep.
300 pods.
Ooh.
All right. So, and I asked you this earlier, your pods sit and soak. So you never, when you're pulling up a pod, you're pulling your crabs out, you're putting fresh bait in there, and they soak, and they're in the water all season long.
Correct.
They don't come out.
Nope.
Wow.
See, I always thought that they did. Because I figured there would have to be a decent amount of growth, some marine growth, you know,
Right.
that's
So-
on them.
You can, what we talked about earlier with the fur, if you get in some bad water or if you leave anything in the water long enough, it gets growth on it, right?
A boat.
Just like if you don't paint
A
the
boat,
bottom of
yeah.
your boat.
You know,
if you're
Everybody
running a
knows.
boat,
Yeah,
sure.
I've seen
Yeah,
boats
So-
with shag rugs on the bottom
Yeah.
of them.
What we do when the pots get growth on them, they obviously won't catch crabs because it looks like a brick wall to them. There's no way to get in
Okay.
when it gets too much growth. So we pressure wash them right on the boat. Now, some people have bleach tanks, some people have boil tanks, and they boil them or bleach them. I
Right
like
on
the
board.
Pressure washer. Yep, right on board.
Yeah, pressure washer. It's like, I'll tell you what, when I was working on the haul out crew, all you needed was a pressure washer of cold water, and you could blast just about anything off the bottom of a boat within reason.
Wow.
Yep. So we have a commercial pressure washer on the boat. We blast everything right as it comes up if it needs it.
Because that's going to
Nice.
affect on how well the crabs are able to access and get
in
inside the pods.
Yep.
That's
So
awesome.
A clean pot catches crabs. A dirty one doesn't.
Okay.
That
We're
makes-
learning, guys.
Yeah,
Everybody,
this is great.
Well,
Yeah,
there's a
this is
lot of
great.
people listening right now that you know, boaters are out there. They see the pods all over the place, and
Do you have to identify your pots? How's that done?
Correct. So each pot has each person's license number on it. And attached to each license, Maryland requires that it has to be the same size, shape, and color
For your license.
for your license.
I see.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, if
okay.
your wife has a license, those crab pots or floats or whatever you have
Can
attached
be-
to them can be something totally different.
How about that? Okay.
And there's different ways of marking your pots, which we talked about, which is individual buoy pots, which every crab pot has its own buoy,
Mm-hmm.
which
Okay.
is what most boaters hate because there's a bajillion of them out there.
It's a slalom.
oh, I was going to say we were getting to that point because I know a lot of boaters that are out and about, and they're like those sons of bitches. There's pods everywhere.
And then the ones that you can probably easily see are the ones with flags, and we call those long line pots. So roughly out of a long line pot that has a set of flags is about 25 pots. Some guys do 35, some guys do 10.
So when you have
So those flags are marking the end
And
of
of the
a
end,
run.
right.
Yep.
Okay.
So
this
when,
is awesome.
When
Yeah,
you
it
pull
is.
those a long line pot, all the pots get stacked on the boat as they come in. And you have to turn around and reset all the pots. With the buoy pots,
Oh, because they're all tied together.
they're all tied together. So all the line goes in one, usually a trash can, and they all go in there and they got loops tied to them. You unclip that pot and it gets stacked on the boat. And then once you get to the end, you turn around and just reset them.
and then set them. Isn't that cool?
Dude, I'm telling you,
That's
this is
awesome.
alert. Yeah, this is awesome.
So if I see flags on markers, and I can see a line, can a boater expect those pots to be deep enough that they're not, if they go between the flags, they're going to be okay?
Right. Yes. Generally speaking, we're not going to set pots in shallow water. Because
Okay.
if you get a blowout tide and your pot's out of the water, all your crabs die.
Crabs
Not
die, the
good.
bait dries out.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes
Because
sense.
that's been a multi-million-dollar question.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, the boaters are, so if a boater hits, let's say a boater's navigating the waterway and they physically hit or they run over one of your buoys, what are the chances of them getting wrapped up actually in their props?
There's a pretty good chance.
It's a pretty good chance.
And it's going to be pretty bad if they don't catch it in time because most of those crab pots have rebar on the bottom.
Mm.
So depending on what size rebars you run, it could be 1/2-inch diameter rebar, and it's usually in about a 2-foot square. So if you suck that pot all the way up to the rebar, it's going to be
a bad day for the lower unit on your IO or your shaft, or right if you have straight inboards.
It brings the point that you always have to have a lookout when you're running.
Well,
And
Kat,
more
how
eyes
many
are better
times
than
did
none.
me and
Yeah.
you go into the Patapsco heading towards the inner harbor for dinner, and our eyes, me and your wife, our eyes are glued because of how many crab pods entering into the mouth of the Patapsco
You
going
gotta
into
pay
the harbor.
attention. You gotta pay attention.
It's yeah, you got to pay attention, and it just goes to show, no matter what you do, pay attention when you're out there on the water. Always know what's on your six, and make sure you pay attention to what's going on.
So what's kind of the wildest thing you've ever seen out there?
We've seen quite a few sharks, which is really cool to see.
In the bay?
In the bay.
No
Yep.
way.
Yep.
Huh,
You
I
get
had
a
no
real
idea.
dry year and you get some salt, you get to see some sharks. This year, there's quite a few dolphins out there. I don't know if you guys have seen them.
I haven't
but-
seen them.
I haven't.
When we came out of Cape May, when
I
we
see
were
them Cape
delivering
May
that
all the
boat, we
time,
seen them
yeah.
there. That we
Yeah,
see them.
we saw a pod right around Pools Island 2 weeks ago.
Right around Pools Island, which
Yep.
is adjacent from Jellyfish Shoals.
Yeah, the north
Yep.
end. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Safe Harbor,
So-
Great Oak.
That's definitely cool. We've caught a few sturgeon,
Okay.
which are pretty neat. They're
Wow.
like the dinosaur of the bay, if
They
you will.
are.
Are you allowed to keep them and eat them?
No.
No, they gotta
they're-
go back in.
They're a federally protected species. So,
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
they got to go back in.
Do you remember the sturgeon that was dead behind my boat? The thing was 10 feet long.
It was 10 feet long, and I
It was
could
the
smell it from the
biggest
parking lot
Fish
because it
I've
was
ever
dead.
seen, and it was a
Stinky son of a bitch.
dinosaur.
Oh my
I
God.
couldn't believe this thing.
Yep.
It was amazing. I'm exaggerating, but it was every bit of 6 feet long.
Well, remember the size of when we were actually coming from Lee's Landing, the one that I pointed out to you when we were parked at the public dock right there before Lee's Landing?
Oh yeah.
And when they're huge,
It's a dinosaur.
It's a dinosaur. Okay.
Yep.
So you don't touch those.
But
Yeah.
when they are legal, they're really great. Sturgeon is like a piece of veal. It is a
I
really
heard the
wonderful.
caviar was what they were basically overfished for, right?
Oh,
In the
right,
Delaware
yes,
Bay,
I think you're right. I think you're right. But the meat is
It's delish.
Yeah, oh, it's
So what I'm saying is, give me a bottle of a little olive oil, some garlic, and Pauly will go to town.
sturgeon. Whoa.
I like it. I love
It's
fish.
got a bite. It's got a very, very.
You haven't tried
Strong.
snakehead yet, too.
Ooh,
I have not.
Definitely try that.
Good.
Oh, it's amazing. We get them in the crab pots fairly regularly.
no kidding.
Now, if I'm not
And-
mistaken,
Wow.
aren't you supposed to? Aren't you supposed to kill them?
That's an
You
invasive species.
They're an invasive species.
Absolutely.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
So if you see them, you're supposed to kill them.
You're gonna
on the
whack
spot.
them.
But I understand that sport, like, because I fished a lot of bass tournaments on the bay, and when the snakehead first came out, because they could go across the land a little bit to get into, like, out of a pond and into the bay and
Yep.
into other waterways. So it was a big problem, and all the bass fishermen were really worried about the snakehead eating all of the food and messing up the food chain. But I think now a little bit is okay, and they've become a sport fish. Like,
Yeah.
people go out just to hunt.
Just to
and
hunt
fish.
snakeheads.
Snakeheads.
And they taste amazing.
I didn't know. See, I didn't know.
They
that.
are phenomenal. Just
Now, how
as
do you-
good as rockfish, if not better. in my
Ooh,
opinion.
no.
Oh, yes.
All right, when are
Wow.
we eating them? Because now you listen, my
Now we're gonna
stomach's.
put 'em on the menu?
I'm hungry. Yeah,
Now
we're
we
gonna put them on the
bite
menu.
with a snakehead.
We're gonna eat
Yep.
some snakeheads, everybody. I'm
Yep.
down as long as it's good, and I'm
Oh my
cooking
God.
it. We're good to go.
All right, so let me switch gears for a moment because I wanna share a story.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
I know you're going. Where are you going?
Well, I'm going because we want to share these things with our boaters. Kenny, you bought a boat, but I understand that you had a little trouble with it.
Had a little trouble with it.
I sure did. And then ended up with more bay water in it than out of it.
You
Uh-oh.
sunk that son bitch.
Uh-oh.
I sure did. It was February, so it was not a good
What?
time to go swimming.
I heard it was a little chilly.
It sure
Holy-
was, which played a pretty big part in why it went down, because there was ice. So
Wait,
That.
hold on. Hold on.
He's like, wait,
Wait.
hold the phone.
Ice in the boat or ice on the bay?
ice on the bay.
Holy mackerel.
We did most of our trip that evening, and it was really a beautiful evening to take a boat ride. But what we didn't take into consideration is the Northeast River is a little fresher. So the whole cove that we were going into iced over.
Uh-oh.
And it was dusk, and by the time we realized that there was ice there, it was way too late.
How about that?
So you just literally punctured the hole.
Yep.
And you punctured a hole way too big that your bilge pumps were never keeping up with.
It kept up for about 2 hours.
That
For us
okay.
to get off the boat and, that
Wait,
kind of thing. And
okay,
to put
so
another hole in the
Yeah,
back.
but
So-
you have his head completely spinning right now.
This was
He's
at
like, well,
night,
hold
too?
on.
Is it
It was
night?
evening. It was just getting dusk.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we had
Wow.
semi-low visibility.
All right, so semi-low visibility. You're
Freezing cold
navigating.
water.
It's freezing
Icing,
cold
ice
water.
water.
You got ice on the surface. You're navigating through it. You puncture the front of the bow with ice, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and she's, we're taking on a little water.
Yep.
Smell ice, can
You
you?
smell ice, can you?
Bloody wanker.
Bloody wanker. Iceberg ahead
Yep.
on the Chesapeake Bay. This is great.
Oh, that is.
And so how long did it take? You safely got off the boat on the dry ground, or did you catch a swim?
No, we got off the boat. I mean, our ankles and our shoes definitely got wet, but
Okay.
that's about the height of our swimming.
And she went down fast.
It took a little bit. I mean, we got enough time to video it with our phones. So
Did you? Okay. So did you
Good
raise the
gracious.
boat up, or did you have Sea-Tow or Boat US come out and do the salvage?
Brandon came out and helped.
Brandon, my man, Brandon
Hey.
from Boat US Chesapeake City.
He's the
I
man.
love that guy.
He's the man.
Love that guy.
Did they have to put floats?
Yep.
Or-
So
Well, they
got
put
her-
bags underneath it, and they
Yeah.
just
we got a
literally raised
diver
it above.
pumped
Oh,
it out. Yep. It there. Believe it or not, we took the trip from the Bohemia all the way to Northeast, and there wasn't any ice from the Bohemia all the way until we got to Northeast, where we ran into it, like the mini Titanic.
smell ice, can you? Oh my God, that's
Yep.
great.
So wooden boats definitely don't mix well with ice.
No, I wouldn't think so. And I'll tell you what, guys, we're sharing this with you because we've all made mistakes.
Yeah.
Every one of us was a novice boater at one time, but we learned.
I also learned something very valuable that day about skim ice, which is what this was. It was so thin you could take a little plastic hook and break it. So we didn't think there was any, when we
Real
first
danger.
ran into it, we didn't think there was any real danger.
Yeah.
But the thing with thin ice is it acts like a razor blade, and you're trying to push a whole cove of ice, it's slowly sawing into your boat.
Okay.
So
Oh, wow.
thicker ice probably would have been better for us.
Because it would have stopped you dead in your
been-
tracks.
Oh.
I had a little bit of fiberglass on the front of that wood boat, and it didn't go through the glass, but it definitely got the wood. And I had an old waterman timer tell me, he goes, when that happened, you should have gave it full throttle and went through it, because you would have got on top of it.
You would have gotten on top of
would
the
have
ice.
started busting it up for you. I didn't know that. I thought slow and steady would win that race, and I was wrong.
How about that?
Sometimes it's better to ride on top, baby.
Well, it's interesting
Throttle
because an icebreaker, that's what an icebreaker does. Not necessarily wake, but it goes up over it and crashes through.
Right.
That's how they break. It's not right.
Okay.
They push it out of break it like that.
So we're
Yeah.
learning some stuff here
How
tonight.
about that? Wow.
Now, what did you do with the boat after it was salvaged?
Thank God I had insurance. That's another real
Wait,
good,
this was the maiden voyage, right?
No,
Oh,
I brought
okay.
it home from Baltimore before that, and it had taken a couple little trips.
I
but
see. Okay.
It was coming home from being repaired, believe it or not.
I remember.
Oh, no.
I did get the story.
Oh, no.
So it needed more repairs than it was worth at that point. So
Ah,
we
it's a shame.
salvaged anything that we could off of it.
Or you took that up to the Bohemian Anchorage, did you not?
That's where it was repaired.
That's where it was repaired.
Yep.
You had JR doing the work on that.
Correct.
He's good with wood boats.
He sure is.
Well, now your boat now is awesome because I had an opportunity to spend on it. That's a great workhorse. What a great boat that is.
Yep, this one's fiberglass.
So the skim, right? So the thin skim ice will not razor blade that to death.
Well,
I mean,
you just got to go faster.
You just got to go faster.
yeah.
Full steam ahead. All right, I got you.
Wide open throttle.
I will tell you what, it is very cool because you were out there working 7 days a week, nonstop, catching crabs, and you're feeding people all summer long. Restaurants, the crab. Remember this, guys, when you're stuffing your face with some beautiful crab meat, it could have very well came from Captain Kenny from Bottom Dollar Crabbing. You feed people. That's awesome. I love it. I think it's great.
So you let your pot soak for a week, right? And then you've got those long lines with. And is there a name for the ones that are on the end?
Hawks. That's what the
Hawks.
flags are called.
So so you see a
So
flag.
if you have a
that's
long line
hawk.
if you have a long line, you have hawks on either side that identifies what that is.
And so how has the crabbing been? We've heard that there's some low oxygen levels and some different things going on out there this season.
Right. So what we call hypoxic water, which my partner Brandon seems to navigate that internet site a little better than I do, but
Okay.
he keeps a little better track of it. But basically, dissolved oxygen is not good for crabs or really any living organism because it doesn't have enough oxygen to breathe. And it seems to settle, if you look at those maps, in the deeper parts of the bay. So right around the Bay Bridge where there's some deeper holes, and then it
Okay.
kind of spreads from there. So as you get up in the shallower areas, you got better oxygen from the waves crashing and that kind of thing.
I know. Okay.
Yep.
That makes
and
sense.
then as you
Makes
come
sense.
farther up the bay with fresher water, it gets better too because there's more streams and that kind of thing that flows into it. It
Okay.
needs a little salt content to thrive.
for
if you
the
will.
crab. Right.
So the crabs like a happy medium of salt and fresh water,
Okay.
which is why on a really drought year, the upper bay is great for crabbing. But if
Because
we
the
have
salt
a-
line comes
the salt
further
line
up.
The
comes up.
salinity comes up.
Okay.
So if you have a real washout, like 2017, I think we had a lot of rain. There wasn't very many crabs here in the Upper Bay. You had to be around the Bay Bridge to crab.
Yeah, that's when
really do
that was
any
the year
numbers.
that we had over friggin' 90 inches of rain.
Yep.
Oh, when they opened it, and in central Pennsylvania, then they opened the
Conowingo Dam, and there
Wow.
was debris all over the place. I never had the most frustrating year detailing boats because I had 13, 14-day stretches of rain, and I couldn't get people's boats in the water.
And we went out that one day, and it was the water looked like a cup of coffee with cream in it, and it had nothing but lumber everywhere. It was crazy.
So that was a big bad. That was a bad year.
Yep. And when they open the gates at the dam, that's really hurtful to the bay. There's a lot of things that wash in from the dam that's built up behind there that really take a few years to kind of settle and iron out.
Well,
So 2018 after that wasn't a spectacular year
for crabs because of what happened.
Because of what happened.
Okay.
Man, it takes that long for things to settle down after that.
You'd basically have to have it stop raining to get that salt line to come up, and it's not going to stop raining for a couple months normally.
Okay.
So I was, I think it was last weekend or weekend before, and I was coming down the bay, and you and I were texting, and I didn't want to bother you because I know you were working, but you were way over on the west side. Do you have special permission to be over there?
Right. So to commercially fish over there off of Aberdeen, you do
Yeah.
have to get a special permit.
Okay.
And they
'Cause
charge you, of course.
Yeah. Well, because you're not even allowed to. It's restricted. You shouldn't
Right.
be over there at all. And I
Nope.
saw. I said, "Wow, he's way over there."
Yep. So they have some of their own sets of rules and that kind of thing, and
Okay.
they have their own police, and they're decent guys, just like any other ones.
Well,
Until you do something dumb.
Well, you shouldn't do
Yeah.
anything dumb,
I'm
right?
raising my hand.
Yeah.
I'm raising my hand.
We've all gotten a little too close to the Aberdeen Proving Grounds from time to time. When I first started boating, I know I
Patrol
did.
boat stopped you.
No, this was a little bit different than that. I was in a bass tournament. And I was a passenger, but I should have known anyway.
Let's make that clear.
And I think we came out of the Bush River, and we got close. And the guy's like, "Wow, that looks like a great hole." So we went in there, and within a couple of minutes, there was a Humvee with a 50 cal and a loudspeaker. Get out! And I was like, "Oh, okay," because we were clearly
We're hightailing out of here.
Well, of course, you got to pay attention to 50 cal looking at you, and the military with a loudspeaker going, "You're in a restricted area. Get out immediately." So we did. So just be careful over on the west side up there.
Yep.
You got to be careful.
Oh
Part
my
of
God.
crabbing over there or fishing, whichever you're doing, if you're commercial, if they get on the radio and they want to do a closure, you got to go. You stop what you're doing and you leave. So that's the downside to fishing over there. You could be working part of your morning and you're cut short.
When they call you
because-
out and you're out.
Yep, you're done. So,
So
right
you're-
now there is a closure because they're doing some testing. I think it's from Stony Point to Bear Point or Black Point. I can't remember what it was, but right in there they're doing a lot of testing. So we aren't allowed to put any gear in there right now.
So that license to you right now is worthless. It's not making you no money.
Pots are soaking, right? Are
Yeah.
they still there?
I don't have any. Luckily, I didn't have any gear in there. They do give you
Okay.
notice, so you can get it out. in
Oh,
time,
perfect.
so-
All right, that's.
I was going to
that's
say,
fair.
well, let
That's
me
fair.
ask you a question. If you had pods soaking and they were baited and you're leaving them down for a week and there's a closure or a restriction and you don't get them in time, will those crabs die? in those pods?
Not normally. Now, they will start to eat each other if you leave them for too long, if they get real hungry. So that's not good.
No. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Hey,
But, I mean, on a good
when you got to
season,
eat, you got to eat. It is what it is. Hey, yo, wee.
on a good season, you might be able to check the same pots every day and do good. But right now isn't such a great season, so we let them soak a little longer so the catch is a little better.
This is such incredible
That's
information.
great stuff.
This is awesome.
Great stuff.
I love it. Now I'm hungry.
So how do people get a hold of Bottom Dollar Crabbing?
You can find us on our Facebook page.
Go on Facebook page,
Bottom
search for
Dollar Crabbing.
Bottom Dollar Crabbing.
Yep.
And if a boater wants a bushel of crabs, how does that work?
There's a phone number right on there, and just give us a call.
Call them up, and my best friends call me Cash. Bring your old wallet, baby. I love it. I love it.
It's a great operation.
Fresh crabs caught right then and there, and they can buy crabs right from you.
Yep.
Dude, I love that.
5 crabs.
Oh, you cook some right in the driveway. I've seen the operation.
Only for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're not
It's
steaming
amazing.
them for everybody else, that's
No.
for sure.
Yeah, very cool. Oh, right. Only for you. That's right. I got it.
That's awesome. I'll tell you what, this is such a great, this was
Yes,
great.
thank you. This has been great. This is really great. All right. Well, I think we've covered a half an hour of some really great stuff about crabbing. Captain Kenny, thank you very much for being part of
Thank
our
you
podcast.
very
Thank
much.
you for
Really
having me.
appreciate it.
And everybody who's listening, if thank him on his Facebook page. Thank you, Captain Kenny, for catching crabs and feeding us, buddy.
Fantastic.
We appreciate it very much.
We
And
give her hell, that's for sure.
I'm sure, I
Roger
know,
that.
yeah, I know
Roger
you
that.
do. Buzzy gave me a full update the day he worked with you that day. But
That was great.
I'll tell you what, guys, everybody, you know what, just to give an update, with All Docked Up, we are crushing it.
Nice.
We are in Kent Island. We have some of the biggest names. We not 10, and we're really doing very well. The company is growing at a really, really awesome rate. 22 is going to be incredible. The end of the season at 21, anyone from Shore Power Solutions to Not 10, just a tremendous amount. We have boat financing, boat brokers.
That's great.
We're
We're going to be at the boat show.
and by the way, everyone, don't forget, come
That's right.
visit All Docked Up at the Annapolis Power and Sailboat Show.
That's right.
And come see Pauly. I'll tell you what.
And Captain Buzz.
Captain Buzz and the other founder of All Docked Up, Jeffrey Halber, the president of All Docked Up. And it's going to be awesome. It's really going to be a very exciting event because everybody asks, what's All Docked Up? And I'll tell you what. Everybody on the bay by the end of the season is going to know exactly who we are.
Roger that.
So I'll tell you what, Paulie's standing by on 6'8".
Captain Buzz standing by on 6'8".
Kenny, thank you again, boss. Everybody have a great night and safe boating.